Hi, this is Kristi Dietz with Retire Early and Live Investor. I'm here with my greatest mentor, Dr. Marsha Reddick, and he only says I can do one more video, so I'm like, what's the greatest good? Okay, so what would be the best advice that you could give? I know we already talked about mentoring, and we talked about follow through, and we talked about buying and holding and all that. And maybe a little bit about goal setting, because we know that only 3% of the country makes goals, and only, ironically, 3% of the country are wealthy or millionaires.
Same people.
And also less than, I think, 1 or 2% of the country owns more than 2 rental properties. Mm-hmm. So, and I remember when you taught me goal setting through your gap management system, I would do all my goals in accordance to, and I did a video on that a few days ago, but I would post like a index card, and I write my top 10 goals, and I put it next to my toilet in the bathroom and read it all the time. And I far outseated, I said I wanted to have 12 properties by the time I was, I think I said 40. And I did it by the time I was 32. Yeah. Things like that. And the power of goal setting. But I want to talk to you a little bit about, it's not just goal setting. We know you taught me, I've read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill a million times, not a million, but many, many times, and Audible. And I know you strongly believe in that, but it's not just about setting goals. Can you talk a little bit about what also you have to do with the goals, with vision and intuition and follow through and action and time management? And I know you taught all over the world time management as well. So what are some of your ideas about goal setting and the other things you need to do besides just writing down your goals?
Sure.
Because they won't happen if you just write them down.
Sure. Well, I used to do public speaking all over the world, and I would play with the audience a little bit. In that, in the beginning, I said sometime during the day, I was going to tell them the secret of success. Mm-hmm. And then I'd ask the audience, and how many of you are interested in the secret of success? And of course, everybody would raise their hand. And then I would intentionally never mention it. Right. And toward the end, people's hands started to go up and said, when are you going to tell us about the secret of success? Mm. And so I said, it's very simple to talk about, but very hard to follow. And the secret of success is to replace bad habits with good habits. True. Because your entire behavior, 90% of it at least, is through habits. We get up at the same time, we brush our teeth the same way, we take the shower the same way, we drive to work the same way. Everything is habits.
Lessons of Don Juan.
Exactly. Our eating is an eating habit, our finances are our financial habits, and so forth. And what we need to take a look at is each habit working for us? Or could it be working better? Do I have bad habits? We all have some bad habits. And so what we need to do is either just totally remove the bad habits, but better yet, replace it with a good habit.
Can you give an example?
Well, that's what goal setting does.
Right.
Because we ask you in goal setting, and you mentioned this, to think way beyond what you think is possible. Mm-hmm.
What your dreams are.
And set high goals. We call them a dream sheet.
Right.
That's what in H. Ross Perot, one of the wealthiest people in the world, in a seminar that I was able to take,